Hello students and architects. What we're going to do, you should have your cottage, the house actually drawn up. We should have our furniture in. You can see that I've got some furniture here on the front of the house. And if I clicked on my roof, you could actually see through the roof. Here we go, and see inside to see, oh, yep, I've got my furniture and my bathroom and all of that stuff put in. What we want to do next is actually add a yard and some other things to the outside of our home here. So what's going to happen is we're going to come over to the project browser and we're going to double click on site. If you see this, this should be a top view of my home here. And what we'll need to do is come up to this drop down menu of massing and site. Now, once we have this menu open from massing and site, we need to make our property line. So I'm going to come to this tool right here, property line. Click on that, and we want to create it by sketching. So I'm going to click on create by sketching, and you can see up here in my draw tools, I can use a bunch of different shapes. What I'm going to do is use a rectangle, just make this real easy. And I'm going to click once and drag. And we're going to go with 100 by 120. That should be good. Now, for your assignment, I am not looking for an exact space there, but we do need a yard roughly about that size, about 100 by 100 feet by 120 feet. When I'm done, I'm going to click the check mark here, and then I'm going to come back up to massing and site, and we need to first choose what kind of surface we are going to use. So I'm going to click on Topo Surface. And now I need to basically state where is it and what kind of surface do I want. So first, I'm going to encompass, click each corner of my site to say I want a surface on my entire yard here. I'm going to click the check mark. Oh, first. Yep, click my check mark. Click back onto this. And it might be easier to go to my 3D. You see, if I go to my 3D, it's already turned brown. So if I click on this, I can go to my category. Click on my three dots for my material, for my topography. And this should open. There we go. And if I'm looking, I'm going to look to see if I have grass on here. Remember, this is all in alphabetical. And it looks like I don't have grass. So what's going to need to happen is I'm going to have to create a new material. Now when I do that, a bunch of us had issues that previous videos we weren't getting this. What we're going to need to do is drag that open, and you see all of a sudden now we get all of this stuff over here. So by dragging, opening up that corner, now I can look to create new materials with this. So we're going to go to my new material, right click on it, and go edit. That should open this up. Now, if once I clicked edit, nothing happens, what I need to be looking for is up here to show my panels. And if I look there, now I'm going to search by name. Thinking. We're going to search by name. I'm going to drag this, make this a little bigger here. I want to find a plant for grass. There it is right there. So I'm going to click on grass. And we're going to go OK. Let's see if that worked out for me. Oh, it did not. So we're going to come back to this. And go back to grass. And I'm going to add materials to the document. That's what I forgot to do there. So I'll add that to my document. I'll hit apply. Now OK. Now I should have grass. So if I click off of this, now you'll see instead of that brown that I had, now I've got my nice lawn here. I'm going to go back to my site here, and now that I've have grass, I actually want to make a little sidewalk for this. So I'm going to go back to my architecture, and I'm going to come over to floor, and instead of the architectural floor, I'm going to go to a structural floor. So I click on that, and instead of wood floor joist, I actually want, well, we should have sidewalk. You know what? I might have done the wrong thing. Let's see. So some of you may have sidewalk here. I don't seem to have a sidewalk here. So what I'm just going to do is I will need to, like we've done with other items, to go to edit type. I'm going to duplicate this. I'm going to call it sidewalk. Hit OK. And then I'm going to edit my structure. I'm going to delete that. Delete this one. And then look for concrete here. I can search this. Concrete. And we will just go with lightweight. Cast in place. That's what I'm going to pick. I will. Thickness 9 1/4 is perfect. That works for me. So I hit OK. I'm going to hit OK. And now I've got my sidewalk. So back to my boundary lines. I'm going to draw from the corner of my house here. Zoom back out. I'm going to go out to about 30 feet. And then I'm going to take my sidewalk all the way out to the edge. Make my sidewalk about 6 feet here. All the way to the other side. Another 6 feet. Come in there. And then finish my sidewalk there. And it's got to be one big loop. And so then I've got it down right there. I might modify this. Take this and stretch. Move this. Set that's only 4 feet. And that should be pretty good. Note that I've already made it my sidewalk. Hit my check mark. And if I look, you should see that I've kind of designated here a material, which should be my concrete. So again, if I double click this, one thing that we're going to notice, and I'll show you before I change it. If I go to my 3D, you'll see that you don't see my sidewalk. The concrete should kind of stick out. And you see if I zoom up too, I have issues with my grass going onto my little porch there. So with my sidewalk selected, I'm going to do my height offset of 1 inch. Let me delete that 0. 1 inch, and I hit apply, and that should raise my sidewalk by just a little bit. Hit my check mark, and now you see how it raised my sidewalk just enough so now it kind of sticks up and I can see the whole thing. What I want to do is actually do that with my floor as well of my house. I'm going to make that raised by 1 inch. Height offset. So now you'll see I don't have any issues of my grass growing over my little deck there. So now that I have a sidewalk and I have my house raised up above my grass, now I want to put a few more items on there. So I'm going to go back to my site view. And I want to put in back to massing and site components. Yes, I will save. Sorry about that, doing a quick save. So I've gone to site components, and if you notice, I have a lot of options here for trees and shrubs. So if you look, we have basically the diameter of what these items are. So I'm going to pick a oak tree, and I know you're thinking like, oh, that doesn't look very good. But I'm going to click one here. I'll click one here. And then let's pick a different kind of tree. Let's go maybe a common apple tree. We'll click that there. Put one of those there. And I'll go a poplar. You put that kind of hanging over. And then let's see if there's any other items. We'll go with Japanese cherry, and we'll put a bunch of them in the back here. And I hit escape, which gets me out of that. So if I go to my 3D now, you'll see, and it'll start to take a little longer because now you've actually started putting more things in here. But you'll see, now I'm starting to get my house and my yard looking like a real yard here. Last thing that I'm going to want you guys to do is to make a little fence around here, and we're going to kind of cheat with that. Instead of making like a picket fence, we're just going to use a railing here. So we'll take this. The kind of railing that I'm going to want is a pipe railing. And then we'll actually go back to our site view to draw this. So I'm going to start at the corner here. And I'll draw that. Keep drawing all the way across. I keep clicking after each line. And then I will hit my check mark. And I finish my railing. I'm going to go check at my 3D. And if you look, now I have a fence around my yard. So, this is what I'm looking for.